I would love to know what Intel was thinking when they released the 14th gen CPUs. Like, to me, these things are dead on arrival. Why go with the 14th gen when the 13th gen is a little bit cheaper and just a smidge lower in specs? Like, there was no IPC gains. What they did, you can see right here, for the 13900K to the 14900K, they boosted base clock speeds by 200 hertz and 200 megahertz, and same for the max boost. It's gone up to 200 megahertz, so we're at 6 gigahertz versus 5.8. La-di-da, not making much of a difference there. And then the only thing that I saw that actually made somewhat of an improvement, I think, was the 14700K. They just added like 4 extra E-cores over the 13700K. So again, a little bit of a boost, but in productivity, yes, you'll probably see a difference because of the extra E-cores, but in gaming, you're not going to see much of a difference. So I don't get it. Why wouldn't they just call it? They just put it out for the sake of putting out a new CPU. Why wouldn't they just call it like 13950 or something like that? They're calling it Raptor Lake Refresh, but honestly, it's just a slight boost. It could be like the 3900K SF. I don't know. Anyway, in my mind, there's no reason to buy Intel at this stage unless you're going to be, upgrading. Like, maybe you have a 12th gen CPU that you want to upgrade to. Sure, go ahead. And I'm not saying that these are bad CPUs. I'm just saying that AMD has better offerings at this moment. So again, the only people that I would see buying this are someone trying to upgrade from a 12th gen, going up a little higher. I don't even think going for the 14th gen is probably the best idea. You can get a pretty similarly spec'd 13th gen for a little bit cheaper. Probably save yourself $50 or more. And then on the flip side, the other first type of people who will probably buy it will be Intel fanboys, because they just want to have Intel. So those are the only two reasons why I can see anybody wanting to buy Intel at this stage, especially since this is probably the end of the line for the LGA 1700 socket. The next one coming out will probably be a new socket, and from there, whatever you buy now, you will not be able to upgrade to without, swapping out motherboard and who knows what else. Whereas AMD, this was the first generation that came out last year of the AM5 socket. So, hopefully based on like AM4's history, you'll probably get at least 5+ years out of this. We went from the first generation to the 5th generation of AM4, 1000 series up to 5000 series of AMD CPUs. So going with AMD, you have a upgrade path. So next gen CPU comes out, you can upgrade. Next one after that, and hopefully for several years, a number of years to come. So just to kind of give you an idea, here are some of the prices that are on newegg.com right now. So these are US prices. Like, you can get the 14900K for $599, or you pick up the 13900K for $569. So you can save yourself $30 and all your loot. Well, I guess the one thing that the 14900K does have going for it is you get a game with the bundle. So that's kind of a bonus. So that kind of makes up for the $3 price difference. But if you're already using 13th gen, like a 13900K, you're not upgrading to the 14900K. There's no real performance gain. There's like just a smidge. So it wouldn't be worthwhile dropping another $600 just to get like 2% additional performance gain. Now, let's take a look at some benchmarks that Gamers Nexus put out, and this kind of puts things really into perspective, because there's a lot of there are a lot of negatives to going to Intel. One is, we're going to talk about gaming performance. Like I said, 14900K, 13900K, you pick up 5 FPS on a 4090 at 1080p. No one's going to be playing Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p with a 4090. You're going to be playing at 4K, and at 4K, you're not going to notice any difference. There's not going to be any difference between the 14900K and the 1300. But the thing that's interesting to point out is that the 7800X 3D, which is that's the benchmark for gaming CPU. So if you're looking for productivity, the 7800X 3D is not going to be, your cup of tea. You're going to go for the 7950X or one of the Intel's 13900 or 14900K. But if you're thinking of gaming, the 7800X 3D is the best gaming CPU that you can get, and it's only slightly better than AM4's 5800X 3D. So you're only getting extra, you're getting like 7%, if even that, increased performance. So keeping that in mind, that 7800X 3D is getting like the best gaming performance. Going back, checking our price, 7800X 3D is, where are you at? Right there, $372. So we're talking $300. We're talking $200 and some dollars cheaper. And I can't find it again. Where'd it go? We're talking, it's about $200 cheaper, a little over $200 cheaper than Intel 7900K, and you're going to get much better gaming performance as well. Going with any of AMD's 7th gen CPUs, you're also going to get a much cooler running CPU. The 14900K uses almost 300 watts. You are not going to be able to get away with using air cooling to cool a 14900K. You're going to need a very good water cooler to be able to tame this beast, even probably for gaming, because I can see it using, this is max load. They're using Blender to do this. So they're maxing out all the cores, and it's going up to 200, almost 290 watts. Whereas, I think it's talking about the 7800X3D again, it uses 86 watts. So not only can you get yourself a platform that's just beginning, so you'll have an upgrade path for a long time to come, you don't have to spend as much on cooling. Bonus, you can put that towards your GPU. And then when we're talking about productivity as well for gains, the best one to get, 7950X. It is, again, great at gaming. It's 1 FPS lower than the 4900K. Comes in a little bit more expensive, but you have all performance cores. Let's go over here. You're going to get better productivity because it's 16 performance cores instead of 8 performance cores with 16 efficiency cores. So you do get better efficiency. And it also runs a little bit cooler as well. The 7950X, again, you'll probably want to go with water cooling, especially if you're doing it for productivity purposes, but it's going to run cooler than the 14900K. So again, I think I mentioned about savings is you can go air cooling versus water cooling, save money. Thermalright's Peerless Assassin lineup of air coolers, they're like $40, dirt cheap. They are awesome as well. There's 200 less watts you need to power, so you're going to be saving $50, whatever, on getting a lower wattage power supply if you want. And this is all, I'm just trying to get to the point that there's money that you can save to put, like if you're gaming, put it where it matters. You can put that towards your GPU. So that's like an extra $100 probably worth of savings, if not more. The cheapest AIO you're going to get is probably going to be $100, $80, something like that. And then save another $50 on the power supply. That's actually $100. That means you can probably go up a tier for your GPU. So instead of a 4060 Ti, get yourself a 4070, or instead of a 7700 XT, get a 7800 XT. It's just you're able to put your money somewhere else. And again, going down the road, you'll be able to upgrade just your CPU instead of having to buy into a whole new platform if you choose. So that's just my rant. Don't know what you guys think. What you think? Leave it down below. Do you agree with me? Is this CPU kind of dead on arrival? Do you plan on getting this CPU or not? I wouldn't. Right now, I'm an AMD fanboy. I am hoping Intel, when it comes out with their 15th gen, that they up their game and reduce the power consumption of these things. Like even the 13700K is using a ridiculous amount of power. You have to drop down to the 13600K to get somewhere into a normal range for power consumption, but you're still using 160 watts of power. Crazy. So yeah, I hope Intel can get their act together. get on the bandwagon and come out with a very competitive 15th gen product. Meanwhile, I can't wait to see what AMD comes out with their 8000 series CPU, which will probably be another, I think they're saying like mid 2024, so we probably still got like another 8 months to go before we see it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a good one.